Irish neutrality is a strength. It underpins our contribution to peacekeeping and diplomacy. It allows Ireland to play a positive and constructive role in conflict resolution. We should be proud to say that Irish neutrality is a strength. Others have been attempting to portray neutrality as a weakness, and I want to put on the record of this House that it absolutely is not. Fine Gael, of course, have always been among that cohort. 20 years ago, they produced a playbook to what they call Move Beyond Neutrality. They set out a series of steps, and of course now Fianna Fáil, no longer standing for anything at all, are following that playbook to the letter. The central aspect of the playbook was removing the triple lock neutrality protection, and then the second part of it was actually narrowing the definition of neutrality until it became virtually meaningless. And we saw that again today when the Taoiseach described neutrality as essentially membership of a military alliance or being part of a common defence pact. And when I asked the Taoiseach in committee recently if there was anything below that mark that would breach neutrality, he said that every single action that a government would take that didn't include being part of a military alliance and didn't include a common defence pact would be in line with his definition of neutrality. So what that does mean, it does mean that any Irish government without the triple lock could send troops to any part of the world, to Iraq, to Afghanistan, to Ukraine, without a UN mandate, and a government minister could come before this House and claim that he was being neutral. And that, I don't think, fits the definition that anybody would describe as neutrality. And what I find the most dishonest part of this aspect is that this move is being made, we're told, in response to Russia's invasion of Ukraine, but the Taoiseach hasn't had the guts or the honesty to say where it is precisely that he wants to send Irish troops to that they're currently debarred from doing so. Because of course that definition of neutrality isn't what the Irish people understand. Indeed, it's not even what the Minister's own department has understood, because they set out a definition of the policy of military neutrality, and it's much more elaborate than just that narrow focus, but it actually goes further. It gives you reading material, because it says Ireland's neutrality is well understood by EU partners and is codified in the protocol attached to the Lisbon Treaty. So what does the codification in the Lisbon Treaty say? It says very helpfully, it says that participation of the Irish Defence Forces in overseas missions will be carried out with the authorisation of the United Nations. The triple lock, it's codified. And where did that codification came from? It came from the first rejection of the Irish people of the Lisbon Treaty. And in order to get democratic legitimacy for the Lisbon Treaty on the second time round, government had to find a route to do it. The route was the triple lock. The triple lock provided the democratic basis on which our current membership of the European Union stands. And any attempt to withdraw that or remove it without recourse to the Irish people is undemocratic in the extreme. Now, I have to say that the Taoiseach has absolutely some nerve to talk about honesty. He's some nerve to talk about democracy. He has some nerve to talk about Russian vetoes. Can I say, Cathaoirleach, that Vladimir Putin isn't the reason why Irish troops today aren't participating in one of the most important UN peacekeeping missions in the world that is taking place in the Golan Heights. That's not Putin's doing, that's Micheál Martin's doing. He removed our troops from that peacekeeping mission. He has some nerve, as well, as I read in the papers last week, to suggest that the triple lock is what has been preventing the naval services from participating in international drug smuggling operations. We can't send our own naval vessels out to the Irish seas at this point in time because we don't have the resources and the troops within the defence forces, because Fianna Fáil have overseen the decimation of our defence forces. There are record low numbers. More people have left the defence forces every single year since Micheál Martin came to office than have joined. Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael between them have decimated our defence forces, and now they seek to decimate our neutrality. And I have to say, I don't believe the Irish people are going to allow them to do it.